Alright, so in this video, we're going to work with the distance class we made in our previous video, and this time we're going to add a new operator to it. So whenever working with distances, it would be useful to be able to add them or compare them. So let's just make a method for adding. Now, if this were Java, we would do something like public distance, and then maybe add, and then we would have a distance d2, and then we would return this dot meters plus d2 dot meters, and then we might put these in a new distance, for example. So this is how you might do an add in Java. And we're not necessarily in love with this, because if we wanted to use this, we would have to do something like, distance d1. We'll just make one like that. Oops. Sure, why not? Distance d2. What is this not like? It doesn't like that we're using. That's fine. We'll just pretend this is in regular code. In fact, let's just put this in regular code. That's right, we need to make a new one. There we are. That was the problem. Okay, so as you can see here, it'd be useful to be able to add these. And in Java, we can do d1.add d2. And if we really wanted to, we could do, d1 equals d1.add d2 or whatever. But this isn't really great syntax. This isn't super readable. It doesn't come as naturally as, say, adding integers does. So what C# allows us to do is it allows us to overload operators. And that does exactly what it sounds like. It's just like overloading a function. You're just giving operators, more behavior based on different signatures. So remember, overloading, let's say we had this distance add, for example. And we could say, maybe we want to say decimal miles. We could do this too, and see, this is an overload of this method, because they're named the same thing, but they have different signatures. And that's the same idea with operator overloading. So, these are pretty easy. These are static. So public static distance. So, okay. Public static, that means that this isn't associated with an instance. It's going to return a distance to us, and then we use the operator keyword, followed by the operator we want to overload, in this case plus. So then it needs the operands. Now, plus is a binary operand, which means, plus is a binary operator, which means it has two operands. So there's going to be a distance on the left and a distance on the right. Perfect. So notice we're not going to be calling this in here at all, like we did with the Java version, because remember, this is static. We could do something similar in the Java version. We could have a static one, but I'll show you why this is even nicer than that real soon. So this is going to be quite easy. We're just going to return a new distance, and we're going to have the left dot meters plus the right dot meters. And notice, this is inside of our distance class, so it knows that this private decimal meters exists. That's why this can access it. So all we're doing is we're taking what's really holding the distance, and then we're constructing a new distance by adding these. So this is real simple, and usually, operators are real simple like this. But you'll see that if we create two distances, we can now do d1 plus d2. And look, this is much more clear. If we were in Java, we'd have to do something like this. We'd have to do something like distance, because it's a static method, and then we'd have to do add, and then we'd have to do D1, comma, D2. This is how this would look in Java. So the same thing can be accomplished, but it really isn't as readable as this, at least in my opinion. So I'll show you. Now we'll do a console.writeLine, and we'll show you d3.nc. We have as meters, and remember, while the user doesn't know this, we do, so we can test this nice and easy. And of course, we'll add a console.readKey. So you see, if we run this, nice and simple. 5 plus 6 is 11. So that's it. Operator overloading is really just that easy. We'll stop here because it's nice to have just a self-contained lecture on operator overloading. And next time we'll get into more safety, really.